Hello, and welcome back to A Fine Time for Healing, a place where your physical, emotional, spiritual, and well being are all that matter. So put your feet up, relax, and enjoy today's show. You hear my voice is kind of like I'm like missing some sounds, but I'm making the major ones. So we're good here. I'm up and I'm talking and we're all good. Okay, so today's special guest is Rae Leonard, who is an author, intuitive guide, and coach. Her latest book is titled High Sobriety. I'm going to show this to you, but I want you to understand the part where you see the bricks is really supposed to be green, okay? But I have a green screen, so it's bricks, all right? Um, a trip out of the bottle into your intuition is what her book is called, High Society, a trip out of the bottle into your intuition. As a transformationalist, Rae draws on her expertise in Jivamukti Yoga, VortexHealing, performing arts, conscious language, and master cleansing to help people who are ready for post-traumatic growth. Many of you are. She assists in dissipating subconscious triggers to allow people to become the frequency of their designs. One of her guiding principles is match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not a philosophy, it's physics. And Albert Einstein said that. Welcome, Rae. It's great to have you.
Oh, Randi, thank you so much for having me. Just want to say that the book is called High Sobriety, and it is a take on high society, which
Did I
you
say society?
because it evokes that, and it comes from that, and it's a play on that
It
movie. And
is high sobriety. Wow. Okay. I made a mistake. Thank you for correcting that. And I'm not believe me. I just want to represent you, so I'm glad that you spoke up. Okay. So tell us your story. What brought you up to the point of wanting to write this book?
well, when I was a child, when I was young, my parents split up, and they were really young. We were all really young, and I was kind of left to my own devices, which, everything in life, you can look at it, you can perceive it different ways. And as I look at that now, that was a good thing because I developed very strong intuition. My extra sensory perceptions, my ESP, my psychic powers, they were with me, my spirit guides. I didn't know that everyone didn't have very developed intuition as I did. And they kept me safe. My intuition kept me safe. My spirit guides, I knew who I wanted to hang around with. I knew who I wanted to go home with after school and get a snack. I could smell. My sense of smell is very defined, and I knew who I wanted to go near and who I just wanted to be away from. Claircognizance. I just know things. And, that was kind of bred out of me, the entrainment of public school, as I like to say, that it's not education, it's entrainment. And peer pressure when I was a teenager, and drugs and alcohol. I started using drugs and alcohol at a very young age in a society where alcohol is mass produced, mass marketed, socially acceptable, and an extremely dangerous drug. So, surprise, surprise, I became addicted. I actually didn't become addicted until I was in my mid 40s. I played I had a lot of duality in my life. I was a bit of a health nut. I loved raw food, and I was a yoga teacher, but I was hitting it pretty hard on the weekends, binging and always saying, "Hey, I'm so lucky. I don't have an addictive personality," as I was
Right.
snorting ecstasy and things like that. And it caught up with me in my 40s. I got addicted. Luckily, I had skills already. I wasn't a young person who becomes addicted and they don't know themselves very well. I knew that it had a hold on me. I could feel negative entities every day on me, kind of whispering in my ear, "Time to have some wine. Why don't you have some wine? Take the edge off." Creeping in. earlier and earlier every day. And I said, oh, I got addicted. I got to quit. So I quit. I amped up on my yoga asana, on my mantra practice, meditation. I listened to sober podcasts, and I quit cold turkey. And all of my psychic powers and spirit guides and intuition came flooding back to support me almost instantly, as well as Young Living essential oils were in my hand, and they supported me and comforted me. And I was instantly recovered. I knew I was blessed and wanted to share my story. I became an energy worker, and I like to help people with make a big impact in small energetic adjustments. And I want to let people know that it doesn't have to be a long, hard road coming back from addiction. That's my story.
Now, you also were a professional actress, right?
Yes, I was. I don't really. I think I became an actress because you had to kind of decide, like, what do you want to do with your life? And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll be a movie star. It's kind of like a princess, right? Um, I was a good actress. I was more inclined when I got on sets. I didn't like the militaristic setup of it, where everyone's in their own little booths and their own little. You have to stay in your own little line, and you can't really talk to other people, and it's all about money. And I didn't like the pace of it. I was always, with the crew, helping people, doing their chart, reading their astrology, or if they had a cold, making them some tea. I was always the helper on set. So it wasn't really aligned with my true values and my true self. But
you were successful. You landed. I know there's one role in particular that you talk about, Adrian Brody's tormented, addicted mother, and let's see, the law.
detachment.
No, what was that movie that you were in with Adrian Brody?
Detachment, it's
Okay,
called.
okay.
And yes, and my career was paralleling my life. I was playing a lot of addicted moms and troubled moms, and the art was incredible, and that is a fantastic movie. Tony Kaye directed it. Yet I was kind of living out my life in films, and my life was reflecting where my roles were going, which is interesting.
Yeah. I know that coming back from sobriety and addiction is a process. You sort of kind of made it seem as if you sort of had help with that healing and it just kind of lifted from you. Is that how it was?
Yes, Randi, it was just a divine awakening to my true self. And I woke up one morning, I was planning on quitting. I was planning it, but I didn't make like a large announcement about it, like, I'm quitting alcohol, I'm done. I just was gathering strength and doubling down on all my skills that I have, and using conscious language. And I just, the night of my last hurrah, and I woke up the next morning and I said, oh, that was my last hangover. I'm done. And when you close a door, there's always another door that's going to be open for you. There's always, your life is going to change. And it was that fear that I wasn't going to have support that I needed. And I was all turned around thinking that, alcohol and drugs were support, when really my divine self, I'm an infinite being. We are all infinite beings of love and light. And that, luckily, that came back to me very, very quickly. So I think that is, that's what I want to tell people, that that can happen. It doesn't have to be a long, hard road back.
Wow. And I don't know that I've ever talked to anybody that would say it the way that you said it. So your connection, spiritual connection, energetic connection, connected to the cosmos and the divine and all of that, must have been so strong that it sort of substituted for that other dependency. You reach to the real things, right?
Yes. Yes. And I had practice at that. I was kind of living two lives my whole life. I think that there's a lot of brainwashing that goes on, and alcohol and pharmaceuticals are touted as things that are good for us, things that are healthy for us. And, there's a lot of subliminal content in films, on TV, in our culture, in books, that it's cool, it's okay, it's, the mommy wine culture. And there's all this programming telling us that these things are okay or good for us or hip or cool. And I was definitely um, a victim of that.
Mm-hmm.
I, I don't use that word. I really think that the victim culture is not great either. But I was a part of that. I was definitely programmed to think that these things were good and you could handle them, and not that they're very addictive, dangerous substances.
Right. So what was that culture? Was that the culture of um, acting, movies? Was it the culture of the community you lived in, the friends that you had? Where was that culture coming from?
Oh, that's interesting. Yes, all of those things. I mean, I lived in the East Village in New York in the 70s. I went to the School of Cool. It was it was a hotbed of creativity and performance art, and a lot of drugs and alcohol. And then also, I'm a cinephile. I was a movie buff, and even going back to old Hollywood. When I watch those movies now, even the screwball comedies. It's just everyone's got a martini, and everyone. There's a Bars are beautiful, and they're seductive, and they're glamorous, and I was really hoodwinked by that. And besides that, alcohol and drugs kill pain. I was in a lot of pain.
And what was the pain from?
I think it was from being, a child that didn't have a lot of guidance, that didn't have a strong family. Um, I was very sensitive, and um, I hid a lot of that, to fit in, and with my friends, and um, definitely my family breaking up when I was very young.
Hmm.
Was like a big
Right.
That was a
So,
big
so, so you were
trauma.
were you basically taking care of yourself?
Of course, I had, babysitters, or I was at friends' houses, but my parents they split, and they were both very distracted with their own lives. I was an only child. And it's just not the same as having, two parents who are there, and, um, you know, running their lives for a family, or, um, kind of a latch kid. When I lived with my mom worked. When I lived with my dad, he was always traveling.
Mm.
So, I kind of got a shell of coolness on me, and learned these tricks to kill pain through alcohol and drugs.
That's very unfortunate. Do you have a relationship with your parents? Are they still alive?
They are, and my parents gave me a lot, including kind of the faith in me that I would be okay. And that definitely my dad, he wasn't necessarily a parent, but if I called him and I needed something from him, he was always there for me.
Okay.
He was always, like a really good friend. Oh, I'll come and pick you up. You need a ride somewhere? I'll come and pick you up, but not like,
It
what are
wasn't
your
you didn't get the nurturing that you needed.
Exactly. My mom was very, very young when she had me, and from an extremely traumatized family. And, she was 16 when she had me. So can you imagine?
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was an orphan, newly orphaned. Her mom had just died. So,
Oh my gosh.
she was not equipped. And and yet, they did teach me things. My mom taught me how to be good manners, and my dad taught me how to be loving and kind to everyone that you meet. And so, you get what you get. I think you pick what you pick coming in. You
Yeah, you
say,
do.
right?
We definitely do.
You do. So you deal with it, and it's not where you come from. It's where you're going. It's the journey and what you learn from your experience, and forgiveness. Not only forgiving, but forgetting. I like Abraham Esther Hicks. She says, forget forgiving. When you're forgiving, you're kind of like, I'm on the high and mighty and I forgive you, but when just forget it. Colette Colbert, an actress, someone asked her in the 30s, what's the key to happiness? And she said, good health and a short memory.
Good.
I love that one. I live by that one.
Yeah. I always tell people we all have stories. Every single human being could write a book because life is an amazing story full of turns and just crazy things, ups and downs, and crazy turns and changes and everything. Every life is a story. The goal
Yeah.
here is to look at your story and take from it what you can. That's good. And take the emotional charge out of the things that hurt before, and just see it as part of your journey. I think that's very important. We don't necessarily want to forget it. We just want to say, that's a part of my story. But when you get to be an adult, you get to make a different, change your path and figure out how you want to do this the way that works for you. And hanging on to that is not helpful to anybody. But sometimes that's very hard to let go of.
You can transform it, too. If you get this really heavy energy and you have, a really challenging childhood or a really challenging time at another time in your life, you can transform that energy, because energy is, it's positive, it's negative, it's magnetic, it's electric. And you can, when something really adverse happens to you, you can take that energy and turn it into something beautiful in your life. That's the story of the lotus
Sorry.
flower. Lotus
Still suffering
deeper,
from this stupid virus. Okay. We're working out of it. We're getting
poor
out of it.
thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The deeper the roots grow in the mud, the more beautiful the lotus blossom is.
Good point. I see, working with people who have, some of them have experienced abuse from a disordered parent in childhood and are now an adult recovering from that. Some people are recovering from relationships with a disordered person and that kind of thing. But somebody said to me, it was one of my guests, I guess, maybe somebody very spiritual said, I see our family as like an airport. We kind of fly through there on our way to somewhere else. And it kind of is true. It really is true. We kind of fly through there. But what I see after doing this work for so many years is there are many people who have made choices of difficult childhoods. And I believe that it's because because the earth is evolving and we're about to change. And we
Oh,
need
yes.
people who have that the strength, the energy, the wherewithal, the um, the connection, to be able to lead people in that direction. So many of us are taking on very difficult lifetimes now, or have in the last,
Yeah. Well,
20,
how could
30
we
years, 40
help,
years.
right?
Yeah,
How could we relate to people? How could we help people if we haven't had any issues ourselves?
right. But I think it's important for people to understand that, a lot of people don't want to think that they chose, you know, the horrific things that they had to experience. But the truth of the matter is we did. And it's for a reason. So tell me what
Yes.
you're doing now with your life. How, what was the first, once you stopped acting and you gave up addiction and all of those things, what was the first um, modality or that you were attracted to? What were you doing at that point?
I was using a lot of Young Living essential oils as I still do, and I was sharing them with people, and that kind of built a financial security for me, so
Mm-hmm.
that I could do look and do other things, and I could write a book, and then a really good friend of mine said, "Oh, you have to check out the Healy device, a frequency device." And my ears kind of perked up, and I said, "Oh, I want that," because I know that it is that we are energy, that we are electromagnetic beings, that we're not bags of chemicals and mechanics. And a device. She said that it was um, a bioenergetic device that reads you in your exalted state, in your best self, like a good
Wow.
friend sees you, and delivers a frequency every 10 seconds to bring your imbalances um, into balance.
And this is called Healy?
It's called Heal. Yes, I'm wearing one right here. See
Oh,
this?
cool. Okay. All right.
It's portable because all of the frequencies, hundreds of thousands of them, are on an app. So you program it on the app, decide what you want. It also has a really cool aspect, which um, helps you with your subconscious triggers, called the coaching app, which I use all the time in my practice. So, I'd always kind of been a coach and a teacher, and I knew that I wanted to help more people. So I got this Healy, and it's just made such a difference. Things move so much faster with my clients with the Healy.
Mm.
Um, a friend of mine, she got a session. She was an actress, and she wanted to book a pilot. And 2 sessions, we made her affirmation, we made her intention, and she booked a pilot for an HBO series. So that was
Wow.
fantastic.
What did you notice? What was the first thing that you noticed, the change that you noticed, and you started using it?
Well, I haven't been under the weather. I've had it about 2.5 years. I haven't been under the weather once. I really feel in perfect health, and I feel connected to nature more, even if I'm inside. I feel that I am nature.
Okay.
And I feel very, very connected rather than isolated. And it's easier to kind of work out, to walk, to do all the things that I like to do. It's helped me physically. Uh, it's helped me emotionally. Things just kind of wash right over me now. I don't sweat anything. And I've really connected with so many wonderful people like you, Randy. I've kind of upgraded my my gang. That
Mhm.
that I definitely, like, I just don't have any people anymore who are bringing me down in any way. I'm a vibrational match to me, and then the universe is bringing me lots of wonderful people who are vibrational match to me.
And that, yes, I think that's a really good point. I was just talking to a friend about that kind of thing. When you change who you are, your outlook, your vibration, everything changes. What you're attracted, what you attract, I should say, becomes very different. And it's not even something that you're consciously doing. It's just that that's what's attracted to you. And I know that there were many years where, um, you know, I struggled and I was not in a great mindset, and I attracted that. I attracted those kind of things to me, and that doesn't happen anymore. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like I'm much more confident allowing life to happen rather than feeling like I have to push in any way. I think our culture kind of tells us, work hard and go after what you want. And I feel much more confident just allowing every day to happen. And I'm more of my natural me.
Right.
And I'm not influenced by um, other things, sparkly things, right? That, oh, I should be doing this, or, oh, I should be doing that. I'm like, no, I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. And that is an incredibly good and confident feeling.
Right. Well, you're with the flow of the universe. You're right in there, kind of just riding the flow. Which is, if we're not doing that, we're not going to be happy or comfortable. So yeah, got to ease into that flow of life. So when you're working with somebody with the Healy device, so I guess they would purchase the Healy device, and then how do you work with them?
Well, what's interesting is, of course, I always encourage clients or anyone to get their own Healy device, because so they can work with it on their own. But it works in the quantum field. So there's a quantum sensor. It works with scalar waves, which are Tesla's. He worked with scalar waves. So scalar waves are wave bands that travel faster than the speed of light. They travel through Earth. They travel through people. They travel through intention. So you don't have to have a Healy. I can do distant work with anyone just by holding the intention,
Okay.
because it taps into the information field. If you're into science, it taps into the information in your DNA. If you're into the woo, it taps into the Akashic records, however you like to call it. I mean, there's a huge unseen portion of our lives, of our
Yep.
reality. And traditional sciences just kind of teaches us only what you can see, only what you can prove. But quantum physics has turned that all upside down and said, wow, we can affect other things on the other side of the earth with our intention. They're
Mm-hmm.
proving it now. So
Hmm.
I work distantly with people, as well as people get their own Healys, and then I help them, I train them on it. It's a bit of a learning curve, but I really enjoy that, because I feel that everyone should have one. Everyone should have the benefit of being in the vibe. Why not have the quantum field working for you?
Mm-hmm.
Push of a
That's very
button.
that's very interesting. So besides that, let's see, what is vortex healing?
Vortex healing is an energy modality. It is in the Merlin line. It is, Randy. It's magic.
I like
It's
magic.
It comes from the Merlin lineage. Back in Camelot time, there have been quite a few Merlins, um, and it's a beautiful thing to do in a group. It's you tap into your vortex, which is in your solar plexus, and you can do group healings with people. You can put them in the grid. You can it works with energy. It was very effective, and I used to use it a lot before I got my Healy, but the Healy's easier now because you just push the button and you can tap into things, and you don't have to, go into a meditation and find these things. It's great. Our world has amped up. It's so fast now. Things are like available to us at a push of a button.
That's so true. That's so true. And you have expertise in Jivamukti Yoga. What is that called?
Yoga. Yes, Jivamukti
What is
Yoga.
that?
It's liberation. Jivamukti, it means liberated one. And Jivamukti, it's founded by Sharon Gannon and David Life, who were my teachers, and they started it in the East Village in the 80s. And they single-handedly brought yoga to what it is today. That they're the reason that there's yoga studios in every little town now, where there won't. They took yoga out of that ashram environment and made it sexy, made it accessible. And then all of a sudden, that started that yoga revolution where tons of amazing yoga teachers started popping up. And I was really, really fortunate to study with them. And they came from a very, bad neighborhood in the East Village, so that's an example of the transformation that can happen, like a total turnaround. So I was lucky to be studying with them at that time.
So is it a different kind of yoga than Hatha yoga or any of the?
It is Hatha yoga. Absolutely. And it's very intense. People are like, oh, you do Jivamukti yoga. That's like boot camp. It's very intense Hatha. They also use all of the other types of yoga. There's meditation, and it's a great book. Their book, Jivamukti Yoga. Take a look for it. They incorporate. They're vegans, so they incorporate.
I'm just looking for a cough drop while we talk.
My God!
So I can keep myself from coughing, but just keep going because I'm looking. Okay, got one. Okay.
They're very strict vegans, and they really believe in non-harming the other beings on this earth and not eating them.
Yeah.
And
I'm with them.
Me too. I can't say I'm a strict vegan, but definitely vegetarian. And I do my best. I know I feel much better on a plant-based diet, and eating lots of fresh fruits and vegetables is mostly my diet. Because
I started 46 years ago. I made a decision to do that because I started with chronic fatigue, and no doctor at that time, because this was way back, could even begin to address it. So I tried the holistic route, and I've been this way for many years, and I've raised 2 children like this.
Wonderful. The world needs you, Randi Fine.
Well, they need you too. They need all of us.
Which brings me, I would love to talk about the holistic health community that I work with.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because it is such an incredible paradigm. I really believe that we're not going to make big changes in this world fighting the paradigms that exist, building new paradigms, right? So I work with the holistic health community, which physically is in Stone Ridge, New York. And once a month, we have a health day, and all kinds of alternative practitioners come and offer their services for free. Acupuncturists and Reiki masters and Joe Ray and massage therapists. And it's the most beautiful, wonderful day of my month. I look forward to it. And, the participants benefit, the practitioners benefit. And it's about building a community where people say, I have this to offer, I have this to offer, and you can come and you can get services rather than, it's got to cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars, or you have to have this health insurance that you paid for that's going to, and those services are only going to include pharmaceuticals and petrochemicals. And, it's a very narrow healthcare program we have hooked up, and not necessarily helping everyone with that. So, but they also have a really cool program that they came in during COVID, where they have virtual week. So practitioners offer their services. They have like money doulas and women who do therapy, and they offer their services for the virtual week too.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you go holistic health, oh my gosh, holistichealth.org. I'm going to look it up exactly what it is.
Okay.
Because you can go there, even if you don't live in this area, you can sign up for free services virtually.
Wow.
And you can sign up for a session with me virtually there too. Yeah.
Wow. So you think it, so you're going to look it up. Okay.
Let me look it up.
Okay. Let's see. Holistic health.
Oh, okay. It's holistichealthcommunity.org.
Okay. Oh, that's great. And this is like one day a year?
It's one day a month.
Oh,
and
a month.
Then a month. It's every month. So people have hours around to get to participate. And that's a beautiful day. So if you're ever in this area in the Hudson Valley in New York, you can participate in that. But you can sign up for the email, and then you'll get the notices when the practitioners have signed up and what they're offering. One day a month, it'll come around the 10th or something, and then you can sign up for the virtual week with the practitioner.
That's amazing. Thank you for that resource. That's great.
I love it. And, it's great for the practitioners because they're expanding their business, and people then, come and get services from them. So they benefit. And also just standing up in the community and saying, hey, I have it. I'm going to share. I'm going to, give benefit to whoever needs it. Really, it bumps you up as a being, as an elder, as a wise person who is here, with gifts to share. And it feels so good.
That's amazing. I'm excited about that. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, sign up for the email, get on the email list, and then you'll get all the emails about all the different programs that's available.
So I'm reading here that you have received 10-day master cleanse. Is this something you do regularly?
It is. So when I became sober, I could see that there were things in me that there were situations, family situations that happened that I thought, well, there's nobody to blame but me for this. I knew it. And I knew that I had to do some deep housekeeping in my physical and spiritual and emotional vessel. So master cleansing is a way, when you eat food, you are also eating and stuffing the emotions of what you're eating. It doesn't all just come out. We leave quite a lot of gook inside of ourselves, and it's toxic stuff, and it leads to dis-ease in the body. So I started with a 10-day master cleanse with Tom Woloshin, who's a wonderful master cleanse expert, and I highly recommend his program, his 10-day cleanses, because he is so thorough, and there's a Zoom every day, and he helps people and answers all their questions. It's a lovely community. So I started with a 10-day master cleanse, and because I knew I wanted to get inside stuff out. Like I honestly felt like, wow, I'm hungry, but I don't know where I'm going to put this food. I knew that I was just full of gooky, gunky from 50 years, at the time I was 50 when I started this. So I did one cleanse and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do another. I had a unique situation. I did 10-day cleanses 1 year, 2021. And then I did 10-day cleanses in 2022. So I did 100 days, not consecutively, for 2 years. So 200 days. I did 200 days in 2 years of master cleansing. And that was very, very transformational.
What is the cleanse? Are you physically cleansing?
Yeah, you're physically cleansing. You're drinking maple syrup with lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, and cayenne pepper every day for 10 days.
And you're not you're not taking in any food other than that for 10 days? We froze. Rae froze, so we're just going to wait for her to come back. Hope she comes back. Rae? Give it a few minutes. I'm going to find some things in her book. Okay, she's coming back. Here we go.
Yay, we're back.
We lost you. Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, so you were talking about, so the cleanse is in addition to eating or without eating?
Well, you're not eating solid food, but there is everything you need nutritionally in lemon juice and maple syrup and cayenne pepper.
Okay.
So you are not hungry.
Oh.
If you feel hungry, you make another fresh lemonade. You're getting all the enzymes you need in there. There's tons of minerals and vitamins, and maple syrup is the tree blood. It's the blood of the tree, and there's so many good things in maple syrup. And cayenne pepper cleans your blood out. It's a great cleanser too. So many people start a master cleanse and they go, oh, I can't do this, because they don't have the right guidance, and they get hungry and they don't know what to do. And what you do is you just keep drinking lemonades, even if that's 14 glasses a day or whatever you need. You keep drinking it and you're not hungry. Also, you take herbal laxatives, so it is hydrating all this yucky gook in your colon and taking it out with you. Sorry to be graphic, but it's wonderful that way.
Okay.
Whoa, where is this coming from? And you're like, trapped emotions and trapped feelings and things they don't need anymore. And it's very transformational.
Many years ago, I used to get high colonics, and but my state of being was a very fragile one, and it caused me to get very dehydrated and very weak. Okay. I'm just going through your chapters here.
Colonics is you're putting a hose in the wrong way, right?
Yes.
The wrong, and you're asking, it's pretty harsh.
It is very harsh.
The master cleanse is like everything's coming out in the right direction.
Gotcha.
And it's a 10-day process. It's not, here, I'm going to clean you out, here we go, an hour, go home.
Right.
It's like
the process.
Yeah. Like peeling an onion, peeling layers of the self that you don't need anymore.
You say our subconscious mind is programmed in the first 7 years of our lives. And So how do we make the most of our subconscious? You have a whole chapter on this.
Well, one way, the way that I do it now is the Healy has a module. So I tell people reprogram it that way. Before I had the Healy, I did a lot of work in that theta brainwave stage, which is right before you're going to sleep. You know, that gray where you're half asleep. So you can listen to tapes, affirmations before you go to sleep. You just have to get to, because when you're before you're 7, you are in that theta brainwave state.
Okay.
Everything that's coming in is just being recorded. Then after 7, you're set and you're just living that recording for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And, you think that you're like learning all these things in the conscious mind, but as soon as the conscious mind stands down, it gets tired. Your subconscious, which is programmed just to keep you safe. So whatever kept you safe in the first 7 years is all you have in there. You're not getting very far. You're not doing the best that you can do, because all the things that you learned in your conscious mind are not as effective as soon as the conscious mind gets tired, boom, your subconscious mind is going to take over anyway.
It's true.
So you can go in, right? Isn't it true? So you can go in as you're waking up in the morning. You can put affirmations in. They have apps now that do it. They have, you can go to YouTube and get, wealth affirmations while you sleep for 8 hours. You can get happiness affirmations, health affirmations, and you can put them on as you go to sleep. And your subconscious changes that way. It's just a matter of getting in there at the
You're
right time.
reprogramming.
Exactly. You're reprogramming what you choose, not what, your parents, they did their best, and the community, but they had a different experience. They might have grown up in the Depression or in wars, and we're so past that. We're standing on the shoulders of what their problems are. We don't need to be affected and living out the same reality that they did and what they
You're
taught
right.
us.
You're absolutely right. Do you feel like you have cleaned up the karma from generations prior to you? Have you thought about that? You're looking at me like I'm strange.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, you started just you started going out again. I was like, oh no, are we going to get disconnected?
No. It's so, yeah. So you feel, I was told I was a karma buster.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So, I had a reading with a medium not that long ago. It was after my mother passed, which was a mother that I was not connected to for many, many years. But so that wasn't a tragedy in itself for me. But I thought I would see what she had to say. So, yeah. So I had a reading with a medium, and her mother, my grandmother, came through. And she revealed a lot of stuff that I didn't know, which was interesting. She's from the other side. But what she told me was, I've healed. In this lifetime, I've healed all the generations prior. I've cleaned it all up. That's what I came here to do. And that was like, I mean, when you're getting a reading, it's not what you think you want to hear, it's what you need to hear.
Yeah.
And that's what that was one of the things that I took away from that, which, because you really don't know when you're living this life exactly how the ripple effect of what you're doing is. And to hear from that, she's been gone many, many, many years, was a very interesting thing. So the medium said, I call you people like you karma busters.
Karma buster, go Randy.
Yes, go karma buster. So that's why I'm asking you, because it seems to me like that's kind of the function that you're serving here.
I think so. I missed out on my grandparents. Most of them were passed when I was born, and so I do spend time with them. I ask them to come at night, or sometimes in the morning. I'm like, I want to have a meeting, and I want to have a meeting with RFK and Ella Fitzgerald and my great grandmother Frida, and I'll like call them all to the table at that time when I'm like in bed, in that theta brainwave place, and I'll actually call a meeting with them. I go to a chateau and I walk up the stairs, and there's a beautiful fire burning, and we all get together. And I say, okay, guys, I don't want to do anything today. You guys put together my agenda and have my best interests at heart. Of course you do. And, if you need anything, give me a little ping or a little bird tweeting, like a bird's tweeting right now.
I hear it.
And listening. Exactly. Give me a little clue what you want me to do. And you guys just take care of my life today for me. And that is so comforting and fantastic. I call on my guides.
Are they communicating with you, or they're basically just influencing your day?
Oh no, we have a meeting. Like I'm that out there. We have a meeting because I want to be with them. I want to be with my great grandmother Frida, and a grandfather, an indigenous grandfather, Yerez, who came to me through another teacher. And they're kind of a couple. And if I have any sadness, they take me out the window and we go to the beach and we pick up rocks of sadness together, and I get to hold their hands.
Rae, this is fantastic.
You like it?
I love it.
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it.
You're one thing I cannot do. I know I'm connected, but I'm not a good visualizer. I can't visualize. So I just think this is just so cool. It's like, okay, I'm calling you guys in. These are who I want to talk to today. This is how I want my day to go. This is so cool. What have you learned?
We are cosmic conscious creators, and we are here to work together. We are not alone. There is help for you. Note that the reason that isolation feels so painful is because it's false. Help is everywhere. You just have to figure out how you tap into it. And when you said, Randi, I don't know how to visualize, or I don't know that, that's the kind of thing you turn into a conscious language thing. Say, I'm a great visualizer. Wait a minute. Let me see what I'm looking at right now. And you just turn that around, because your words are wands. That's a chapter in my book. Your words are wands.
Right.
And you just said, I'm not. So the universe just reverberates, oh, she's not good at that. She's not good at that. Just turn that around. I am good at this. And I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to practice a little bit. Or I am good at this and I'm going to practice a little later. But I'm good at this.
Well, this has come from years of doing guided imagery, meditations, working with one particular meditation over and over hundreds of times. I've only come to this as a result of realizing that that's not one of the things that I connect to. It's just, and I've actually talked to people. Some people we don't have that imagery. Okay.
What is a good clair sense of yours, right? Do you smell? Do you taste? Do you hear?
I just download it.
I just
know it. I know it. I just know it, So
that's my strongest.
I'm not shown things on a in a way that I'd have to see it or visualize it. I just know it.
Well, you can just know your meeting. You can just lay there in bed when you first wake up and say, I know a meeting's going on right now. Do I hear it? Do I see something? Do I feel something? But I'm not sure, but I know that my guides, I called them to have a meeting and they're here with me right now, and give them that space because you know it.
Right. I do. I do. and for those of you who are listening, don't think that I have more gifts than you or Rae has more gifts than you. We all have it. Right. It's just a matter of paying attention and tapping in, and you'll realize that you have it as well. This is nothing unique or special. But Ray, I like the way that you use these connections. I think that's really interesting. I've never heard anybody do that before.
Oh, call your meeting, call your morning meeting. Call your morning meeting, wherever it is, the place that you feel like, I love my bed. I love a hammock. I love to be laying and comfortable, or laying on my yoga mat. That's the place for me. Some people might be swimming. They might be in the water. They might be in a bathtub. Wherever the place to practice is the place where you feel incredibly good.
Right.
That's the place to start.
Well, that's so cool. What is the 5D treasure hunt?
So the 5D treasure hunt is a game that I play that brings a lot of relief, a lot of stress relief, because this third dimension, this 3D dimension, is very complicated and harsh and full of things that we think are solid, that we're mistaking that things
Right.
are solid and hard, and that's 3D. 4D is more transformational and a gateway to the 5D, which is alignment, divinity, unconditional love. So I lay in a hammock, and this is my technique. I'm hearing the birds right now. I blur my eyes, and I kind of have my ears perk up, like, those telescopes that come out of submarines. I
Yes.
bring my ears up, and I start listening for clues. And I'll hear a bird tweet, or I'll hear a car backing up. And I don't stop my thinking. It's not a meditation like that where you're trying to make space.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep, my thoughts are going, and I'll start to get confirmations on a thought. Well, maybe I'll start thinking of a friend. Oh, maybe I should call them. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Okay, I will call them. That was a confirmation. Now I see a kid in the next yard with a ball. Oh, interesting. He starts bouncing it. I hear that. Boom, boom, boom. That reminds me of something else that maybe I'm going to put on my schedule, maybe not. Something humorous will happen. There'll be something, I'll think of something funny, and I'll get a response to that. So the idea of the 5D treasure hunt is not to get the answers, not to get the prize at the end of a treasure hunt. It's to allow more clues to come through. Because the more clues you let through, the more fun you have with it. The more you just look for a connection between what you see and what you feel and what you hear, you're opening up other dimensions. And then this third dimension is not as challenging, because there's other dimensions out there. There's help for you, there's support for you. And the more but they're not going to talk to you. They're not going to be there for you if you're not asking.
Right.
If you're not hanging out.
You have such interesting ways of connecting. It's really interesting. I know. I mean, I've done over 500 shows, but I'm attracted to guests who bring something different to the table. And you're bringing some very different things to the table. So I like that. Thank you.
Marvelous.
These are just really different. When you first started talking about the 5D treasure hunt, I started thinking about the the consciousness of bringing yourself to the present moment. Okay, because when you bring yourself to the present moment, you use your senses, and you hear what you didn't think, what you're not thinking you're hearing, and you look at things differently, and you smell things differently, and it's that. But you've taken that present moment to another level, which is very cool.
The clues are for you. Everything is happening for you. Life is happening through you, not to you.
Do you start every day like this?
I have meetings most days.
Okay.
I have a morning meeting most days. I can't say I get out in my hammock every day. Depends on the weather, but even if it's chilly, I try and like wrap up and get out there. Um, but I also believe that, I have a bunch of modalities that I use, and I go through phases with them. And, I might do something every day for 2 months and then I switch to something else. And that's just my makeup. I don't need to do the same thing all the time. And that brings me relief, not putting that stress on myself, like, oh, I got to do that morning meditation, or, oh, I didn't call a meeting this morning. I like total freedom. What brings me relief is putting less things on my calendar. I put 1 or 2 things on my calendar every day. That's it. And I allow the rest of my day. That really works for me.
So you just answered the question, my last question that I was going to ask you. You absolutely answered it, because I was going to say, with all these different modalities and all these different ways that you have to connect and and begin your day, how do you figure out what you're going to put in? That was going to be my question. How do you figure out what you're going to do each day? And I didn't have to answer it. You just picked that right out.
Oh, well, one more thing. When I do get out of bed, I drink 64 ounces of molecular hydrogen water with lemon. I do a mini cleanse every single day before I drink my yummy cacao drink or make an orange juice or something like that. So I think that's really important to start every day with a mini cleanse instead of just starting with, your breakfast or whatever it is. Like, give yourself some time to cleanse, because that's a great elimination time.
And that water, do you have some sort of machine, some sort of filter or something that?
I do. I have a vessel. I don't have it right here. It's
Okay.
about this big, and it has frequencies that run through the lid, and it creates molecular hydrogen water, which is super, super good for you. It makes me feel banging for my day.
Okay, sounds good. A lot of great tips, a lot of things for us to, and one of the things that I say all the time in my show is, I'm going to bring all kinds of points of view and modalities and just ways of living. I'm going to bring them. And you guys just grab onto what feels right, what resonates with you. Rae has some things, maybe some of them resonate with you, maybe some of them don't. You can pick and choose. You're like, I like that. That's cool. I can incorporate that in my day. But none of this is meant to necessarily change your mind. It's meant to see what feels good in your life, so that it can, if it resonates with you, you may go, oh, I'd like to add that to my life. So Rae, you gave us a lot of really good, interesting ways and things that we can add to our daily life to feel better, live better, connect better.
Thank you so much, Randi. It's so wonderful, because I couldn't do what you're doing. And I love that you have the platform and the podcast to bring people on and share lots of different views. Thank you so much. It's
You're
been a
welcome.
pleasure.
Yeah, it's been really a pleasure talking to you. Thank you again. And I'm going to show high sobriety again. There it is, high sobriety, and understand that the bricks, this is magic. You see? You're seeing through the green and you see bricks. Isn't that amazing? Technology.
Oh, and my website is raeleonard.me if anyone wants to be in touch.
Okay.
I'd love to talk to people and share more.
Okay, good. Rae, R-A-E, Leonard. Okay. Thank you so much, Rae. Have a wonderful day. It's great talking to you.
Bye, Randi.
Bye-bye.